So, welcome to the review for Unit 9, which was on multiplying and dividing powers. Right? We first learned about negative exponents. Negative exponents make the reciprocal. So, that is over 1, so you flip it over and you make the exponent positive. You flip it over and make the exponent positive. When you're like that, then the y goes up there and becomes y cubed, and the x to the negative 7th goes down there and becomes x to the 7th. It says rewrite as an equivalent expression. That means it has the same answer for any value of x or y, but it has to have positive exponents, right? It has to be equal to it and have positive exponents. So this is 4 over 1, which is 4 cubed, but it says evaluate now. So then you do 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64. So this is 1 over 3 to the 4th, which is 1 over 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, which is 1 over 81. Everything to the 0 power equals 1. Right, so what did we learn? We learned that when you're multiplying powers, you add the exponents. When you're dividing powers, we subtract or cancel the exponents. And when you have a power to a power, that's what this is called, a power, that x to the 5th power is a power, to another power, power to a power, you can multiply them. 5 times 6 is 30. Okay, so it says evaluate it. First thing you do, get rid of the negative exponents. So this is 936, but you never, so you have to simplify that fraction, right? 9 goes into 36 4 times, so this is 1/4. Right, the 8 stays where it is, and that becomes 1 over 4 squared, right? And so you get 8 over 4 squared, which is 8 over 16, which simplifies to 1/2. All right, so x is 5, and it doesn't really matter what y is because it's the 0 power there. All right, so this is 5 to the negative 2nd. So 10 to the 0 becomes 1, stays where it is. This comes down here and becomes 5 squared. There's a 1 up there. This is 1/25. So this is 4 times 5 times 10 to the negative 2nd. 4 times 5 is 20. Over 10 squared is 100. 20 over 100 is 2/10, which you have to simplify to 1/5. Right? That's a coefficient, right? That stays where it is. X is 5 to the 1st power, that stays where it is. Only negative exponents get flipped. Right, simplify the expression. So you're not doing the multiplication, you're just treating that just like it was x times x cubed. Right, so this is 5 to the 4th. Simplifying, not evaluating. So this is 2 to the 5th to the 6th power, and you leave out the parentheses, it's wrong. You multiply powers, you add the exponents. Right, so 6, we have a coefficient of 6 there. And so then we have x cubed times x, x to the 4th, y times y squared, y cubed, 6x to the 4th, y cubed. Right, we have coefficients of 9 and 3. You actually multiply those. Then you add those little exponents. Negative 5 plus 7 is 2. It's 27x squared. Replace the question mark with a statement that makes it true. So we have to do 2 plus blank equals negative 5. The only thing that goes in that blank is negative 7 is the question mark. Right, we have 6 to the 5th. I like to do my multiplying first, so we get 6 to the 6th there. Then we can do our canceling, and we have 1/6. This is 1/6. Well, you could put 1/6 to the 1st, but we never put things to the 1st power. Right? You do your multiplying first, and you get y to the 7th. You get the same thing top and bottom. You got one whole. You also have y to the 0. Either of those would be acceptable. Okay, so we have to simplify 4/16 to 1/4. The x squared gets canceled, that becomes a 1. The y to the 4th gets canceled, that becomes a 1. And we have x to the 1st, also known as x, over 4y. All right, then we put negative exponents in these. So the y to the 5th stays. The y cubed comes down, y to the negative 3rd comes down here and becomes y cubed. This is 1 over y to the 8th. Negative exponents get flipped, positive exponents stay. Coefficients also stay where they are. right? So we have a 6 on the bottom. We still have x squared. Now we have x to the 8th going up there. So this is x to the 10th over 6. 9 becomes a 1, 36 becomes a 4. Right, so we have a 4 up there. Then we have an x to the 4th. The x to the negative 2 goes up there and becomes x squared. Y to the 7th stays. This y to the 1st comes down here. 4x to the 6th over y to the 8th. We're multiplying, so do we have a coefficient of 9 times negative 1? Ooh, that's tricky. Negative 9. Then we're going to add the exponents. Negative 8 plus negative 3, negative 11. 2 plus negative 3, negative 1. Are you not allowed to leave that? So the two things with negative x, the negative coefficient stays. It's the negative exponents that come down here. Right? When you're multiplying powers, you add the exponents. All right, this is a power to a power. Now, the easy ones, you can just write it out. That's what I actually think you should do. But it is 7 times 2, x to the 14th. Right, the harder ones, all right, now realize this is negative 3 to the 3rd power, x to the 18th power, and y to the negative 12th power. I just multiplied everything by 3. There's a 1 there. So negative 3 to the 3rd power is negative 27. To the x to the 18th, the y has to come down here and become y to the 12th, right? Negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 is negative 27. All right, so you multiply x, right, times 1/3, you get x to the 1st. This is x. So you can multiply 1/3 times 3, or you could think of this as x to the 1/3 times x to the 1/3 times x to the 1/3. 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 is 3/3, also known as 1, x to the 1st, or x. Square root, sorry, the square root of 64 is 8. Oops, I don't mean to do that. Square root of 64 is 8. Square root of x to the 8th is x to the 4th. The square root of y to the 20th is y to the 10th, right? And you could double check your work. I would, all right? So, right, that times itself better equals 64 x to the 8th, y to the 20th. It does. It checks out. That is the correct square root. That's another way of writing the square root of 121. So the answer to that is 11. That is another way of writing the cube root of 8, which is 2. That's another way of writing the square root of 100 cubed, which is 10 cubed, which is 1,000. Right? The denominator is your root. The numerator is your power, right? So this is 11 to the 1st, and this is this to the 1st, but no, actually the 1st was here, but you don't write that. So you can multiply these, right? 1/2 times 4 is 2, so this is 9 squared, or 81. Or you could, I think that's the way to do that. All right, then we did scientific notation. The zeros at the end can be gotten rid of. Not this. This is called a trap zero. That has to say. Only ones at the end. Now, how many times do we move the decimal point? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? That's 3,070,000 in scientific notation. Decimal point always after the first number. It always starts with 1 through 9. So it has to start with 5. 5.08. We moved it 3 times, but that's a small number, so we need a negative exponent. All right, so now we're going back to standard form. We have to move this 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In this case, we have 6 zeros. That is not always the case, and this is, in fact, and put commas in it. No commas on the test, points off. 3 million. Move that 3 times, but that's a small number, so you got to go that way. It only gets 2 zeros, 0.0027, 27 ten-thousandths. Right, we can multiply scientific notation. 4 times 8 is 32, 0, 3, 4, move the decimal twice, you get 4.32, you add the exponents, 10 to the 11th. Here you're dividing scientific notation, 8.2 divided by 2 is 4.1, 3 minus negative 6, 10 to the 9th. Yes, right? Or you can think of that -6 flipping up there. Scientists detected 4 asteroids with an approximate mass. So we had 4 of these. We want the total mass, all right? So 3.06 times 4, well, that's sloppy, 24, to 12.24 times 10 to the 8th. Uh-oh, that's not scientific notation. It has to be 1.224. Now, I've made that smaller, so I need to make this one bigger, 10 to the 9th kilograms. This is division. 2/5 is 4/10, yes. And so that is 0.4 times 10 to the -3rd, 7 minus 10. That's a small number. But that's not scientific notation. It must be 4 times 10. I'm making this bigger, so I got to make this one smaller, 10 to the -4th. The largest number is the one with the largest exponent, right? And -3 is definitely bigger than -4, 5, 6, -7 and -9. So that number is bigger, right? It's the number 1, 2, 3 is 0.007, which is bigger than the other ones, way bigger. All right, so it says evaluate that. So 7 times 2 to the 0 times 3 to the -4. Well, that's 1, so that's 7, and the 3 to the -4 goes down here and becomes 3 to the 4th. 3 to the 4th is 81, right? 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 is 81, 7/81. What will make this a 1? 1/5 times blank will equal 1. The question mark must be 5. What's the area of that? Well, 4n times 4n is 16n squared, right? The area of a square, you better get squared. All right, good luck on the test.